movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we always here celebrating the magic of movies and physical media with you. So this is a review I've been really anxious to do. Ever since I heard that Criterion was working on a 4K of this about 2-3 years ago, and it's finally here. It's been released. I believe it's released December 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And that is the Coen brothers film, and in my opinion, their masterpiece, No Country for Old Men, that won numerous awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. It's a fantastic film. And Criterion does bring No Country for Old Men to us with a newly restored 4K restoration from the original 35mm negative with HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading, and also preserving the accurately displayed theatrical ratio of 2:39:1 when the Blu-ray was framed wrong at 2:35:1. I know it may not sound like it makes a huge difference there, but believe me, there is a difference, and you'll definitely see in my comparison review. Also, the restoration work was supervised and approved by DP Roger Deakins. That's right, Criterion went the extra mile and brought in the cinematographer Roger Deakins to supervise and approve the restoration and also the color grading to ensure accuracy. Now, I'm sure like you, I still own the 2008 Blu-ray, and man, when you take a look at this Blu-ray now, it is rough, really rough. There are numerous problems with this Blu-ray that I picked up on even more so when I compare it to this 4K. So we're definitely going to take a look at that, especially within the black levels, and it's definitely something that you have to see for yourself to really understand what's happening there. Alright guys, so let's dive into it. Let's take a closer look at No Country for Old Men, the 4K UHD against the previously released Blu-ray, and see if this 4K is worth the upgrade. First off, I have to talk about is the black levels. There are long sequences that take place at night, and the Blu-ray had a lot of problems with this in this area. There is so much heavy crushing out of details throughout. I was honestly shocked, especially when I compared it to the 4K. I mean, take a look at this scene here. Just look at the differences just within the shadow casting from the tree limbs and the leaves on Josh Brolin. Or even this scene here where Josh Brolin hands the mariachi band the $100 bill. Look at the background. You can't even see his boot or the ground. And there are numerous other scenes and sequences like this. Now with this 4K UHD presentation, the black levels look how they should. We have all those deep, inky, truer blacks and rich, strong shadows and shading, while at the same time allowing us to see light and details within the black levels and shadows with superb depth of field, giving a really true cinematic appearance that we just did not have on the Blu-ray. But now let's get into another highly worth reference point, and that is the color reproduction, supervised by Roger Deakins to ensure accuracy. And right away you can tell this has happened. The image is more luminous than the Blu-ray is, and while by design the color palette isn't broad, the HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading really does open up the color gamut much wider, enhancing what's already there, allowing the design color palette to retain its faithful appearance, based from the original source material and Roger Deakins cinematography. Now, since the film is set in West Texas, it was shot in Marfa, Texas, and also in New Mexico, the color palette faithfully reproduces the appropriate look and cinematography that's dominated by sun-baked browns and yellows, giving a rich golden brown look of the desert landscape. I also noticed the 4K is far more stable than the Blu-ray within the color ranges, that also carries more depth, with the HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading giving a very vivid and cleanly reproduced color palette. I mean, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. The saturation is increased, giving more warmth and life back into the image. This also helps with skin tones looking healthy and natural. Now, I live in Texas, and it can be very, very bright outside, especially in the summer. And the better contrast levels reproduces this perfectly. And this also helps with night and darkly lit scenes looking more naturally appropriate. And the 23921 frame fills up so much more internet detail and imagery, allowing the production design to really breathe. You can tell a lot of love and care was poured into this 4K scan, bringing the film to a much truer cinematic appearance than I've ever seen it before in home media. The 4K image quality here is absolutely stunningly beautiful, richly showcasing Roger Deakins' Oscar-nominated cinematography. The image is razor sharp and clear, or as sharp and clear as the lenses could capture. Finer details are just extraordinary, from facial features with close-ups revealing imperfections, wrinkles, and also all the beads of sweat and dried on dirt and grime that's on faces. It's more revealing now, along with skin textures. You can also now clearly make out all the little pieces of the crushed concrete paved street. Backgrounds also stay constantly sharp and clear no matter where the camera is pointed at, with close-ups, medium shots, wide shots, it all stays clear and sharp. You could pick out any shot, any frame, any scene of this 4K, and the enhanced resolution and the HDR10 Dolby Vision grading gives every single shot a good amount of depth, giving the image a very lifelike and three-dimensional look, bringing the film to a much truer cinematic appearance than I've ever seen it before in home media. Now the bitrate is fantastic as well. I saw it start out in the mid-80s, and then I saw it peak out around the low 100s, like 109 Mbps. The grain structure is also great. It's fully intact here with a nice resolved, tight layer of fine 35mm grain that looks natural, giving a really beautiful filmic appearance. Alright guys, now let's get into the audio of this 4K UHD. And unfortunately, the 4K does not include a Atmos track, which is really disappointing. I would love to hear this film fully immersed in Dolby Atmos. However, what it does include is a remastered DTS HD 5.1 surround mix. And it is remastered from the original audio files. This 5.1 mix sounds fuller and more solid compared to the very dated Dolby Digital mix on the Blu-ray. The film is front-end heavy that makes excellent use of the entire system to deliver a seamlessly integrated audio experience with great dynamic range. And when surround activity happens, it comes in with full impact that fills the entire listening area, really immersing you in this environment. And also sound effects and dialogue never overpower each other. They're all balanced out very nicely, so I didn't have to play that volume up and down game that I did have to play with constantly when I watched the Blu-ray. Alright guys, so my score, do I really have to say it? I think you know what I'm about to say. I'm giving Criterion's 4K UHD presentation of No Country for Old Men a resounding 5 out of 5 for audio and video. This is a fantastic 4K UHD presentation that is definitely worth upgrading from your Blu-ray, or if you don't already own it, it is one you have to have in your collection. But now head over to the comment section because I'm really curious about your opinion here. When you look at the differences here between the 4K UHD and the previous release Blu-ray, which do you like better? Or do you see much difference at all? Head over to the comment section and let me know. And as always, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here as we talk about No Country for Old Men, 4K UHD, and comparing it to this thing. Sorry. As always, keep physical media alive and stay tuned for another 4K versus Blu-ray comparison.